Welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman, and this show is brought to you by Audible.com. If you go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report, you can sign up for free, and you get yourself a free audiobook. In fact, it's free for the whole month. I think you can download a whole bunch of audiobooks, and that'll help support the show. Tonight we're live on cjmarsradio.com and 365 Live. We're live on hazyradio.com, and then throughout the week, we're on ParaX Radio on Saturday nights, 7 p.m. We're on Sunday nights, Awake Radio US and awakeradio.uk, and 1800 and Shazazz Radio on Sunday nights. I think we even repeat on Hazy Radio on Sunday nights. And then we're on Shake and Wake Thursday. Friday, we're on Wednesday, we're on Firehorse Radio. Friday nights, we're podcasts on WTRU Radio. They play a little repeat. And on Saturday morning, no, actually, that's Sunday morning. We're on Penny Entertainment on Blog Talk Radio. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Sunday morning. Tonight, our first guest is going to be the Reverend Edward-Pinkney, who came to us from our sponsors in Mexico, the New World Mexican Women, referred him to us. And the Reverend is going to be updating us on the outcome of his politically based trial and tell us what we can do next to help him fight against this wrongful conviction. Then after that, I'm going to give you a little update on the Mexican student kidnappings. You might remember we had Celestino Sota, who gave us the inside story on what's going on with these kidnapped Mexican students down there in Guerrero, Mexico. Then in our second hour and into the after show, and as long as you guys want to stick with me, and as long as we can hold up for you, we're going to be tackling the book by Maury Terry called The Ultimate Evil. And I have a group of guests calling in that are a discussion group that we meet every day, and we discuss this book and mainly the Son of Sam cult in New York City and the Process Church of the Revelation of the Process Church, the Final Judgment. But also things like the Orlis Perry case and the Manson family, and even, you may not believe this, but even Sirhan Sirhan, the assassin, well, the accused assassin of RFK, and they all have connections to this Son of Sam cult, the Process Church of the Final Judgment, which is a satanic cult that originated from England in the late 60s and 70s. I know we're going to have Mike Marinacci back tonight. He's going to be calling in this group. And I think we're even going to have Thomas Sheridan. Thomas Sheridan has a huge fan base and a huge bunch of followers, so I think we're going to be lucky enough to have him call in as well. I'm hoping Cisco Street Love calls in, and Joe Tatoma, and maybe William Ramsey and Adam Gorightly. All these guys are all part of this group where we discuss this case all the time. And then there's some other people that are just really experts and actual eyewitnesses to the Son of Sam murders and stuff like that. So we have a lot of really big stuff coming on in the second portion of our show. By the way, speaking of church, the Process Church, I was on Jimmy Church last week, a couple of weeks back. I was on Jimmy Church, Faith of Black, and I want to welcome all the listeners that heard me on Jimmy Church and have been contacting me. They're all excited about the show. They're looking into the archives and how to listen to the old shows. And we picked up a whole bunch of new listeners from that appearance on Jimmy Church. I had a lot of fun there, too. Jimmy's going on. He's going to be taking over on Coast to Coast on the weekends. He's going to be handling that slot over there from now on. Also, a quick heads up. This Tuesday around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be a guest on The Truth Speaks. And that's hosted by Dylan Wade. And it's going to be on People's Internet Radio. I'm going to have a link to that up on my Facebook page and the blog and everything like that. So you could tune in Tuesday and hear me rant and rave. I'm gonna be telling everybody there about the injustice that went on with Reverend Pinkney. I can tell you that for sure. I'm gonna be talking about that when I'm on the People's Internet Radio on Tuesday and asking for support for our good friend the Reverend here as well, because these are the things we need to be doing. Lastly, we need prayers for our good friend Amanda, who I don't know what the details are with this, but I know that she has a little illness. So we'll keep Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo in our prayers, and also our friend Christian Wallace, who's a good friend of this show. He's a brother and he needs our support and our prayers right now as well. And we may be getting into that later on in the show because we're all getting messed with, guys. Okay, and we all need to stick together in this kind of stuff. Now you can find our past shows up on the Opperman Report YouTube channel. We just hit 1,600 subscribers tonight, so please get there. The Opperman Report, subscribe, and you can find the old archives on Spreaker.com and also iHeartRadio. But tonight, our first guest is the Reverend Edward Pinkney. He was with us a couple of weeks back. He was facing a stinking trial by these guys in Michigan, this bloodthirsty VA, and these corporations in Michigan that are trying to put him out of business. Reverend, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm happy to be here, Ed, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming back. I know you're going through a rough time. So tell us what happened. Give us a quick update on why they targeted you to begin with, and then what happened with the outcome of your trial.
Very good. It all started with the recall of the mayor here in the city of Benton Harbor. He's a puppet for Whirlpool Corporation. He's a stoolie, and we were successful at recalling him. But he warned us. He told us that he was going to go out. He's going to use all his resources, which is Whirlpool Corporation, plus the prosecutor office, the sheriff department, and the clerk department. And he said, these are his words, that he's going to make everybody sorry for trying to recall him. And we were successful at recalling him, but unfortunately, the sheriff department went out and started kicking in people's doors, putting them on the ground, putting a pistol to their head, and trying to get them to say things that were not true. It led to the arrest of me, where they came to my house with the SWAT team. They surrounded my house with a SWAT team for a recall petition. And they claimed that they had 5 forgery charges, that 5 dates on the recall petition was changed, and it was changed by me. And they set bond at $30,000. Then they went on to say I couldn't use the computer. My wife couldn't use the computer, and we could not have the computer in our house. And I was on lockdown 24/7. We went to have a hearing. They call it a preliminary examination, and where they supposed to have produced the evidence, and we discovered they had no evidence. They had nothing to say that Reverend Pinkney did anything wrong. They brought in a forensics guy, and he told them that Reverend Pinkney did nothing wrong. But that was their main witness. So then we went to trial, where we picked the jury on October the 23rd. It took us 2 days to pick the jury. We almost got one black guy. Out of over 100 people in the jury, there was only 2 black people. One of them almost got on, but he told him that Reverend Pinkney was the pillar of the community, the pillar. And then he immediately got rid of him. That was his downfall. And the jury became all white. Here in the city of Benton Harbor, which is 96% African American, you have an all white jury. They're still hanging nooses and burning crosses right here. The first day of the trial started on Monday, October the 27th, which was my birthday. And we gave them I would say, a very, very good lesson in law. We turned all their witnesses into our witness. On the second day, pretty much the same thing. They brought people in who signed the petition, and the people told them that they signed it on the date that was on the petition. It made them angry. The third day, they put the forensics guy back on the stand, and we turned him into our witness. He said he could not tell you who changed them or if it was changed, and we definitely can't tell you that Reverend Pinkney changed anything. On the fourth day, we put our witnesses on the stand. 3 people witnessed other people changing dates and stuff on the petition, and they told the court that. The fifth day, we went into the argument, the final argument, and the prosecutor told the jury, we don't have any evidence that Reverend Pinkney did anything wrong. He said, you might call it circumstantial evidence. You might call it circumstantial evidence, but you don't need evidence. He was shaking his head up and down to convict someone. Then he said, will you find him guilty? And he was shaking his head like telling them to say, like the nod, I give him yes.
Yeah, right.
And then, And then he went on to say, we really don't need evidence, and I want you to find him guilty. My attorney got up and told them that there's not a single piece of evidence here that even say that a crime was committed. And there's no evidence that say that Reverend Pinkney did anything. He said, I cannot believe that we're even here in court today. But unfortunately, after the jury deliberated for 9 hours, they came back with a guilty verdict on all 5 counts of the felonies. The misdemeanor charges was not guilty. They threw me a bone. They said, we won't convict you on the misdemeanor. We'll get you on the felonies. We'll send you to jail. That's what we're going to do. That's what they were saying. Which was shameful.
Let me ask you a question, Reverend. Throughout all of this, has there ever even been the slightest accusation that you were motivated by greed or money or some kind of to do somebody harm?
Absolutely not. Not even a thought of it. It seemed to me that my fight with Whirlpool has spilled over into the courthouse. And what they're trying to do is crush me if they can.
Okay, now, Reverend, how old are you?
66.
66 years old. Okay, and realistically, how much time are you looking at doing here based on some alleged, well, not alleged, but some forgery accusations?
I would say possibly 7.
7 years. So you'll get out of jail at 74 years old.
Absolutely.
So effectively, they're threatening you with a life sentence in prison over some paperwork.
Correct.
Paperwork that was mishandled.
Absolutely. Who would believe it? Who would believe it? It's amazing what they would do if you allow them. Right.
If we allow it. Now,
that's right. But Ed, I'm the type of guy, I know how to fight back. I got about 6 weeks or maybe 5 weeks before December the 15th, and they getting ready to get a fight that they would never dreamed of. Because when I fight, I bite. And I'm willing to bite back. And that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, so now what's next? The next thing is a December 15th sentencing hearing, but you're going to try and get that postponed, right?
That I'm going to attempt to do that, and we're going to file a couple of motions. For reason unknown, we do have a case law where signing someone's name on a recall petition or changing the date is a misdemeanor charge. But by me being the Reverend Edward Pinkney, they gave me a felony charge. And reason unknown, my attorney do not want to file, which I'm thinking that they had intimidated him so much. And he's afraid now to go up against them because I think this might be the ingredients to stop them. What I want to do is raise enough money to go out and hire an attorney to go in and file this motion for me within the knowledge, and I got to get somebody to go in there and handle it for me in front of the court and the judge.
Gotcha. Okay, now, so the main thing we need right now within 10 days is donations. Now, if you go to the Opperman Report blog, I have on there where you can mail a check to BANCO, BANCO, 1940 Union Avenue, Benton Harbor, Michigan, 49022. Now, that's up on the Opperman Report blog. You can find it right there. Now, your website is called bhbanco.org, and on there, you have a PayPal button where people can donate tonight by PayPal, correct?
That is correct. And they can go right there and click on PayPal, and it's right there for them to see. And also they can, I got a lot of stuff on there that they can read so they'll know exactly what I'm going up against.
And if there's a lawyer out there that wants to volunteer, the Reverend's phone number is 269-925-0001, and his email is BANCO, BANCO 9342 at sbglobal.net, or you can contact me at the Opperman, just oppermanreport@gmail, and I'll put you in touch with the Reverend. If there's a lawyer out there who can take this within 10 days and help out. Now, Reverend, is anybody helping you out, man? Like all the people we know, like anybody,
ACLU? Unfortunately, we don't have anyone that's available. I've been talking to several people, but unfortunately, nobody has came forward and say, yes, I will do that for you.
Yeah, it just seems like a couple of basic appearances, man, and we could just get somebody in there.
That's the same thing I said. Ed, you're thinking on the same level I'm thinking. I said that's all I need them to do. Just come in, file this motion, and then we proceed on. But unfortunately, it's more of a challenge to most people than you would ever imagine. I tell you this much: I'm excited, and I'm really think that we're going to beat them down. I believe that once we leave this area and go to the appeal court, that we have a fighting chance against these guys. My thoughts is that when we file the motion itself, most likely they're going to deny it. Then we can take it straight to the appeal court and request a stay if we can do that within 10 or so days. So I got ideas on how it should be done. I'm working it. And the biggest thing, I need the funds. Most people will not take it pro bono. So I need funds to make sure that I can get this thing done. And if I can, I know that we're going to win.
Okay. Now you also need letters to the judge as well, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Here's what I want done. I want letters written to this judge, and I want to talk about the jury selection, the all-white jury, and the fact. And this is a fact now. You don't have to take my word for it. You can look at it. You can look it up on the internet. It's all over the internet. Even the news station, Channel 3, the young lady was there, and she was crying like a baby when I got convicted. She said, this is a travesty, she said. Nobody could do people like this and get away with it. But unfortunately, they did it to me. And so, but I'm fighting back. But I want people to write a letter to this judge. His name is Sterling Sherrock. That's Sterling, Sherrock, Schrock, 811 Port, P-O-R-T Street, St. Joseph, Michigan, 49085. And we want to talk about this because we can't let them off the hook. Regardless what happened with me, we still can't let them off. We got the next person. We got to be concerned about them, because I believe if we stay focused and do the things we need to do, we can make a difference. And the only way we're going to make a difference is that we stand tall, because they only have one job. That job is to crush anybody who stands up against them.
Now, what about? I know NAACP is hopeless because they totally sold out on you down there. But now, what about? There must be some other organization out there. What about? Is there anybody that we can appeal to, like another group? Like another an activist group in your area that we could appeal to say, hey, help out the Reverend?
Hey, unfortunately, we do not have anyone who's willing to take a stand. Not even the ministers here. They have all ran for cover.
All right.
They're in hiding, as I would say. They have been neutralized. So now their voice is silent. You will not hear a mumbling word from them. So we're in this thing up to my neck, but I'm willing to stand toe to toe and chest to chest with these evil, wicked people.
I hear you, brother. Okay, and we gotta pray for the Reverend too, man. Okay, because this isn't, it's not easy to be facing a prison sentence, even a short prison sentence. You know, even if you're a young man, to be facing a prison sentence. Um, but when you've spent your life fighting for the people around you, this hasn't been an easy road for the Reverend here. His whole life has been a struggle, and we really do need to get behind him now. Now, when we're writing these letters to the judge, the kind of letters we want is like, the Reverend Pinkney is a respected member of the community. He's devoted his life to helping the poor and to helping the average citizen out there. And we're asking for the judge for mercy, or we're asking for threaten him. Tell you watch
Well,
your back, Judge.
at least we're asking for something,
Right.
which is crucial. And I believe that, like, everybody who took the stand for the prosecutor, uh, they told the prosecutor that I am one of the few people in this community who actually stand up and fight for the people. I mean, every witness they put on the stand said almost the same identical thing, and I didn't even have to tell them to say it. They said it because they was under oath, which was such a beautiful thing. Listening to that almost brought tears to my eyes, because people never come up and tell you that you're doing a great job, or we really appreciate you. We know you sticking your neck out for us. But during the course of this trial, one after the other came up and said, Reverend Pinkney, he's the guy in the community. Whenever I need him, he always there. And then they started telling them all the things I have done for them. And then they said, well, is that a reason for you to come here alive? He said, no, I'm on the oath. That's why I'm telling you the truth.
That is a beautiful thing, It's kind of like that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, with Jimmy Stewart, where you start seeing how you affected the people around you, and the effect you've had on your friends and your family and the neighborhood and your city there,
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that is a beautiful thing. Well, we could thank God for that. Now, what about, are you praying for a miracle? Are you praying are you down on your knees praying?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Every opportunity I get, I'm praying. I'm asking God to give me strength, give me wisdom. I know that that you understand the work I'm doing, and I tell them it's not about Reverend Pinkney. It's really about the people. And I need you to relieve me from this burden, and especially my wife. I'm a little bit more concerned about her, and I'm pretty sure she's concerned herself. But I believe, I got faith that everything's going to work out. I just believe this.
Amen. I believe it too, and I
Mhm.
promise you, brother. I'm gonna fast. I'm gonna pray for you. Okay.
And the most important thing, if I get if I get the resources, then I can stand up and really fight like a person should. There's nothing more important than having resources. When you got the resources, you can neutralize a lot of things, especially in this legal field, because then you can have the right lawyer and have the finance to do it. And if you get the finance to do it, you could take this thing to a whole different level.
It's so true, because these are relatively, really minor charges, man. And to be thinking that someone would face 7 years in prison at the age of 66 years old, to face 7 years in prison on some minor forgery nonsense charges, that nothing was affected, no money changed hands, no money was stolen. This mayor didn't lose his office, did he?
No, absolutely not.
Of
They
course
put him
not.
right back. They took care of him. That's their boy.
Yeah.
That's their boy. They have a habit of taking care of their own. Everybody, he's just one of the tools in their toolbox.
Now, Reverend, if they were to take you away from your family, how would this adversely affect your family?
Oh, it would be devastating. It would be devastating. That's why I'm fighting so hard today to make sure it does not happen. That's why I'm doing the things that need to be done to make sure it does not happen, because I believe in my heart it will not happen.
Amen.
Whatever I need to do, that's what I'm going to do to make sure it do not happen. And there are certain things that we can do to neutralize them. But we just have to be willing to do it. And once again, I go back to the resources. Resources means a lot, even during my trial. Now listen to this. The attorney that I got now, we have paid him more than $25,000 and still owe him $25,000. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the shame part about this whole thing, he may have taken a dive on me. That's because there's certain things that he could have done. Go here, let me give you an example.
Okay.
The sheriff department went to the clerk's office and took the original petitions without a subpoena, without a warrant, or a court order. That is against the law. It says nothing leaves the clerk's office without a warrant, a subpoena, or a court order. And my attorney refused to bring that up, which I thought was major. And they took him out of the county. And nobody has seen the original petition since then. We don't know what happened to those petitions. Number two.
Wait. So first of all, the petitions, the original evidence was obtained without a warrant, illegally.
Right.
And then there was no chain of custody. We don't even know where it went from here to there to there to here.
No, absolutely. And it was never brought up in the trial. I was trying to tell him, bring this up, say this. He looked at me like I'm the lawyer. I said, yeah, but you defended me. And here's number two.
Go ahead.
How the mayor, he manufactured the whole investigation. He went out and got 3 phony documents. Had one of his friends, when he got them from his wife, and had his wife and 2 daughters sign and said that I did not tell them it was a recall of the mayor. And then he turned them into the sheriff department. Then the same person saw me being arrested on TV, came and dropped off an affidavit and put it in my door saying that her husband forced her into writing those statements and they were not true. So we took it to the sheriff department, to the prosecutor's office, and he refused to investigate them because that was one of their puppets. And they're not going to arrest their puppet at any cost. And that was the story on that. See, these are ammunitions that we could have brought up and used. And also, this guy had this tape, this CD, where he was threatening this other commissioner, Life, and telling him all the things that he was going to do to the people in Benton Harbor. All this stuff, we didn't use nothing. This guy kept telling me, we can't bring that in. We can't get that in. Well, you're a lawyer. You should know how to get stuff in.
Yeah, it seems like some of that. It seems like some of that you could have got in. Yeah. Now, but no. Was there now in the actual trial itself? Was there legal error that you can have an appeal that you could base an appeal on?
They brought in a document that we didn't know where they got the document from.
Okay.
They claimed they got it from the news station, but there was nobody from the news station to testify that they got it from him. So that document should have never got in, and it got in. And we think that that's a major issue right there. And because what it did is prejudice the jury themselves, because they had a chance to review it. And that's one issue that I think that's gigantic, and I think that's going to help us. But there's so many issues. I think that for me to sit here and talk about it would take me maybe hours to all the things that. And here's another thing: the judge kept beating up on the poor attorney. I thought that I was going to have to reach for my knife or something. The way the judge was beating up on my attorney.
Well, don't do that.
Him and the prosecutor were taking turns. Slapping him around, and they was doing it as a partner. It was like a partnership, and every time he object, he'll overrule it. Objection overruled, and then when the prosecutor says okay, sustain, it went on like this all day long. In the closing arguments, my attorney was getting into it, and the prosecutor objected, stopped his flow, and threw my attorney all the way off. He's 74 years old himself. So, it's amazing what they do and when they do it.
Who was 74 years old? Your lawyer?
My attorney, right.
Okay, yes, okay, all right. Okay, listen, we're going to have to take a quick little break here and play some commercials, and then we'll be right back with the Reverend Pinkney. But let me just give you these addresses again where we can help out. One is you can give them a call, 269-925-0001. You can shoot them an email at banco9342@sbglobal.net. His website is www.bhbanco.org, and that's where you can go to the PayPal. And please, it would be such an encouragement to the Reverend tonight if you could go there tonight, even $5. It's such a big deal, guys. Please. And then if you want to mail a check, it's Banco, BANCO, 1940 Union Avenue, Benton Harbor, Michigan, 49022. And we're going to be giving that a couple of more times tonight. And I'm pleading with my audience. We need your prayers. We need your financial support, and we need letters to this judge. I'm going to have the address to this judge up on the Opperman Report blog, but we'll be right back after these quick messages.
You read the paper.
Con soles de primavera para plantar la bandera con la luz de tu sonrisa. Aquí se queda la clara, la entrañable transparencia de tu querida presencia, comandante Che Guevara. Tu amor revolucionario te conduce a nueva empresa, donde esperan la firmeza de tu brazo libertario. Aquí se queda la clara, la entrañable.
Sponsors, we got Pacific West Bamboo. That's 503-839-8126. You can find her on her Facebook page at Pacific West Bamboo. They're your number one source for timber construction, craft-grade bamboo poles, plants, products, and more. They specialize in eco-friendly reclaimed wood products for the home and garden. They're located in Portland, Oregon, servicing the Northwest for 10 years, and they can and do ship nationwide. That's Amanda over at Pacific West Bamboo, 503-839-8126. Her email is demroots@oppermail.com. Any of these sponsors you ever need to get a hold of and you can't find their website or something, just contact me at oppermanreport@gmail.com, and I'll put you in touch. Let's see. We got the good old Mike Ray at infinityhomeplans.com. Check out Infinity Home Plans and Design Services, your resource for 3D and 2D draftsman services. They offer a multitude of products, including stock home plans, 2D digital drawing sets, 3D models, renderings, and more. infinityhomeplans.com. Hey, don't forget my daughter's show, Teen Truth. It's on Saturday afternoon, cjmarsradio.com at 1 p.m. Then we got emailrevealer.com. That's my website. That's the home of the online infidelity investigation. You give me your husband's email address, we'll trace it back to an online dating website. We'll catch him cheating online. Then we got, the New World Mexican Women. Okay, this is the group of village women in Mexico. They're from a small town in the south of Mexico where those kidnappings are going on. These are brave women. They've written this beautiful book with the love letters to their husbands and their fathers and their brothers and their uncles who have all come to the United States as migrant workers, and they're begging them to come back. And the letters are beautiful. You see the pictures of these beautiful women, and they write these beautiful letters. It's in handwritten, and it's typed out, translated into English, where they beg their husbands to come back to Mexico. But also, too, then they teach you in the second half of the book, they teach you how to make authentic Mexican jewelry. And that's really cool, too. So the New World Mexican Women. All you got to do is just Google New World Mexican Women. And if you want to deal on wholesale jewelry, get a hold of me, oppermanreport@gmail.com. I'll put you in touch with the New World Mexican Women, and you'll hook up a deal on getting authentic wholesale Mexican jewelry. You can sell it up here as your business up here in the United States. And I don't have the rest of the copy for the other, essentially Tammy, who has the essential oils. I don't have that ad handy right now. I'll have it for you in the second half of the show. But we're here tonight with the good old Reverend Edward Pinkney. And you know what they say, Reverend, two heads are better than one, right?
That's right. I agree 100%, Ed. You are right on the money.
You know? And God bless you, Reverend. So we got about a good another 10, 15 minutes. What do you want to tell the people, man? What do you want to say?
Well, here's what I want people to know, and I want them to understand that we must stand together. It doesn't make a difference whether you're black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Japanese, Chinese. It doesn't make a difference. It's more of us than them. And that's one of the things that they prey on. They try to use that divide and conquer routine, and that's why we're scrambling today. If we were together, they wouldn't be able to pick us off one at a time like they're doing now. There's no excuse for us being in this compromising position that we are in today. We got people who want to be gatekeepers, who gatekeeping for the rich. It's basically the haves against the have-nots, rich against poor. But we want to make sure people understand how important it is to stand together and fight this monster. I used to say it was like Rodin. Remember when the movie Rodin came out, nobody could kill Rodin. And then they figure out a way how to kill Rodin, and that's how we got to do. We got to figure out a way how to kill this monster before we eat up everybody. And that's the goal of these people. And I understand how we can get hooked up in these things like that, because maybe that jury was motivated by something other than the truth. But what? Who led them to think on the level they were? It's impossible for them to find me guilty, yet they made it possible to find me guilty. There was no way. If they followed the instructions, that's why we were so sure that we were going to win this case. There's no excuse for what's happening today. We have allowed people to manipulate us, put us in a compromising position, then beat us down one at a time. So, Ed, I want people to understand it's important, even with or without me. The fight got to continue. We can't allow them to continue to push us around. Ed, I wish there was a million Ed Oppermans around here. I wish there was. We wouldn't have the problem that we have today here in these United States. But we got to learn to do better among ourselves.
I hear you, brother, but actually there really are. There's more than 1 million. There's 300 million of us, and there's one little tiny 1% of them. You got just the Walton family alone, the heirs to the Walmart fortune. There's 6 of them. They got 40% of all the money.
Yes.
This isn't rocket science, people. There's 6 of them. There's 300 million of us. We ask them nice to share. Okay, they can share, or then we gotta be a little impolite,
And remember this: they figure we don't have to share. They can pick 2-3 people out to train them to block the rest of the people,
right,
and work with them against us. That's how they do it. What they do is not magical. It's just basically what they're doing is greed. You'll find one guy who wants to live in a mansion or want to do certain things, and they use that person to destroy maybe 1 million people at a time. That's, you said 300 million people. They use 300 people to control those 300 million. That's how they do it.
And it's amazing too that the average person out here will identify more with some billionaire, and rather than a person, their own equal, and they'll look down upon the person that's their own equal, and they identify with these rich billionaires, man, as if, we all have a chance to inherit $1 billion.
Yeah, absolutely. And they want to be just like them.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem that we're facing today. Why can't we all see? Anytime that you have a system that cannot feed, clothe, and house its people, it must be overturned.
Yes.
It must be overturned. And that's what we're facing today. That's why I'm in this compromising position today, because they are afraid that I may come up with a plan to neutralize them. That's what they're concerned about. They're concerned about me. This young man, 66 years of age, has a plan to how to neutralize it. Here's something that we better learn how to do too. We better learn to keep our money in our pockets. That's how you neutralize these billionaires. That if they thought for a moment that they was going to be broke, they will stop doing what they're doing. Until we learn to work together. Walmart, we should be boycotting Walmart.
But you know what, Reverend, I got to admit, even myself, I occasionally go in there and I spend money in Walmart, and I should know a lot better, but I what the hell is wrong with me? I still do it, so I guess I'm just as guilty as a lot of people out there.
And remember this, the prices at Walmart are a little less than your store down the street.
Yeah, but then what they do is they put the little stores down the street out of business, and then they raise the price right back up again, yeah.
You're absolutely correct. That's what they do. The mom and papa stores, they ran all of them out of the community. You don't have mom and papa stores. But I believe that people should start keeping the money inside their community. You need a gas station, mom and papa store. You need clothing stores. You need you name it. You need keep your money inside your community. That's how you manage to grow. That's how they manage to neutralize us. Because we're so busy going to Walmart and giving them our money, and they take that money right out of the community. They do not put that money back in the community.
Oh, absolutely not. And I was talking about the 6 members of the Walton family. They don't even pay the same rate of taxes that you and I pay. They're paying like less than 10% tax.
Yeah, and think about this, and even that they probably trying to figure out a way how they can pay no tax.
Oh, forget
Let me tell you, Whirlpool Corporation here in the city of Benton Harbor have not paid taxes in 25 years. Haven't paid taxes in 25 years. And here's the thing. We went out and tried to get them to pay their water bill. They don't pay no water bill. They say, if you make us pay our water bill, we're going to move out. And everybody, we don't want Whirlpool to move out. Well, my thing, I'll help you move. I will get a truck and get my people together and help you move out of the community until you learn to put something back. They can't go anywhere in this country and get a tax break like they got here in the city of Benton, where you don't have to pay water, where you don't have to pay any tax at all, and you get free land, free whatever you want. You say you want the land, you get it free. You don't have to pay a dime for it. I don't think nobody would be that kind. And we're sitting in the red. if they paid their taxes, we have more than enough money to service our community.
Yeah, and there's no reason why they can't pay their taxes, because they are paying their stockholders. They're paying huge dividends to their stockholders. It's not like they're suffering for money. None of these companies.
Yeah, but if they don't have to pay, they won't. They'd rather see you suffer. You see, they got that mentality where they don't mind seeing the people suffering. And here's the thing, they won't even hire people to live in the city of Benton Harbor. They got 4,000 workers in a Whirlpool Corporation. Listen to this, less than 0.5% is from the city of Benton Harbor. Less than 0.5%. They will not hire people. And those 0.5% are what you call temps. They only work 89 days or so.
Let me ask you this. Now, the issue with the all-white jury, okay? Now, have you looked into this? And aren't cases overturned because of that?
Well, they're overturned by the jury pool. Unfortunately, out of 100 people, there was only 2 black. That means that 2% of the people in the pool was African American, which is a problem. That's a problem right there. So what we have to do, we have to deal with it from the pool issue rather than the all-white jury itself, because most likely, I don't think we'll get very far with that. But we're going to try that also. We are going to do that also. We're going to show them that might be the thing to do also, deal with not only the pool, but also deal with the all-white jury. That's a major problem in the black community. And unfortunately, that's what we get. When you go to trial here in this area, you get an all-white jury. And I'm talking about 96% of the people that live in Benton Harbor are African American. But in the county, only 15.9% of the people are African American. So we do have a major problem. We have to learn to fight back. We have to learn to do the things that need to be done and take this thing to a whole different level.
Right. Okay. And then you want to get into the whole thing again about how people can donate and how people can. First of all, what's the address for the judge to write to the judge?
Okay, that's the judge's name is Sterling Schrock. I'll spell his last name SCHROCK. The address is 811 Port, P-O-R-T Street, St. Joseph, Michigan, 49085.
Now, what about okay.
And the way people can help me, they can go to BANCO.org. That's BANCO.org. Or you can mail me a check to BANCO, BANCO, 1940 Union Avenue, Benton Harbor, Michigan, 49022. And I have a PayPal on the bhbanco.org.
Right, and all of that, you can find that on the Opperman Report blog. I'm going to be reminding people about that this week. Brother, I wish we could do more. You know what? It seems like almost every week we're asking for money. Because we're all getting screwed, brother.
Right. And that's why we don't win the battles, because we don't have the resources.
But this doesn't seem like that serious charges that this man. Maybe we can even write to the governor for a pardon.
Well, we can do something. Let's start with this guy, and then we'll take it to the next level.
Okay, Reverend. Listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on again. And let's try and have you back on in a few weeks, okay? And
let's do it. Let's do it, Ed.
Keep us posted on what's going on, okay, my friend?
That's a promise. And
everyone, I want you to pray for the Reverend Pinkney here. Pray for his family. Pray for his wife. Pray for mercy from this judge, Schrock. Pray that God would just put mercy in this man's heart and to do the right thing. Convict him with the Holy Spirit. We pray in Jesus' name. Okay, Reverend, I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you very much.
All right, take care now.
Good night. How's that, man? I'm leading us in prayer for the Reverend here. Okay. Oh boy. Well, listen, folks. I really hope that we can get together behind Reverend Pinkney there and help him out as much as we can. We got coming up in the next hour. I want to take calls and people to Skype in. If you want to Skype in, it's ed.opperman, Opperman. You can Skype me because we're going to be doing the show. The next hour of the show is going to be about Maury Terry's book, The Ultimate Evil, which is the story about the Son of Sam cult in New York City back in the 70s. Everyone knows about the Son of Sam. Was shooting these people. Spike Lee did a movie about it. But his version is total crap. The real version is in this book, The Ultimate Evil, where Maury Terry comes up. David Berkowitz confessed to Maury Terry and told him all this stuff about all these connections to this satanic cult called the Process Church of the Final Judgment. And then as more and more investigation was done into this group, they found out they were connected from everything to Sirhan. They met with Charles Manson. They were involved in, some people think, the Atlanta child murders. And we've been talking about them for quite a while. But I was in the Para X chat room a couple of weeks back, and the people in there were totally unfamiliar with this case and totally unfamiliar with this story. So I says, okay, listen, we really got to start doing a class on this group and on this story here, the whole Maury Terry book, because all of us were all part of this group on Facebook. That's this Maury Terry, the Ultimate Evil Club group. We are. And guys like Adam Gorightly is in there, and Mike Marinacci, who's the author of all that weird California stuff. He's going to be joining us tonight. Thomas Sheridan's a member of the group, and he said he would join us tonight. That would be great. And then hopefully we'll get guys like Joe DeToma. We got another guy here just added me to his thing. He's a member of the group, Justin Cook. He's going to be. I'm going to be dragging him in. And we're all going to be discussing all the little facts and details of this group. Now, I want to give you an update about what's going on with the down in Mexico with the kidnapped students down there in Guerrero, Mexico. Remember, we had our guest on last week, Celestino. Oh, not Sota. It's Celestino Mota. Okay. And he was telling us the story about the 46 students who were kidnapped down there and the mass graves and all that kind of stuff. There's been a new development in the past few days, and that is that the mayor and his wife, the mayor of Iguala and his wife, they were fugitives, but they have been caught. Okay, they caught them. They were in Mexico City, hiding out in a rented apartment that they had over there in Mexico City. So now they've been captured now by the police there. Also, too, that the assembly or the governor over there, they changed the governor. They appointed a new governor for the state of Guerrero, and supposedly this governor has more of a leftist history background. Okay, and so that maybe it's to appease the people. We're not sure what's going on or what, but they're getting a lot of media attention down there in Guerrero, Mexico. This is where our New World Mexican women are down there struggling. They're in these demonstrations. They're organizing these demonstrations. So they, too, need our support. And also, too, they're the ones that they brought Reverend Pinkney to our attention. So, again, we're all here trying to gather together and organize together to resist what they're trying to put down on us. Okay, so after the break here, we're going to be bringing in all these different guests to talk about the Maury Terry book. So what I'll start doing is, if you want to call in, if you don't have Skype, you can call me up, and the number is 702-605-4894. That is 702-605-4894. And I guess we can start bringing in people. You know what? Now we're going to have a break in a couple of minutes. So we're going to go to that break in a couple. I should have kept the Reverend on a couple more minutes, but we're going to have a break in a couple of minutes, and then after the break, then we'll start bringing in the callers and the Skypers and all that kind of stuff. So I want to remind everybody, this Tuesday I'm going to be on People's Internet Radio with Dylan Wade about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time. Dylan's an interesting guy. He has a show on CJ Mars over here, and he has a show on Shake and Wake. I believe he still has a show on Shake and Wake, and he has one now on People's Internet Radio. But he's a 15-year-old kid, just like my daughter. He's a young kid, about the same age, and he's also a paraplegic. The kid's in a wheelchair. He can't really use his arms or legs. There's people helping him and stuff like that, but he's a very bright kid, that's for sure. And he's turning into really a factor, in this radio community that we're all in here together. So it's going to be my pleasure to be a guest on his show for the second time. Might even be the third time. Who knows? He's a good kid. And we're going to be talking about the Reverend Pinkney case. I'm going to be explaining to people about the New World, the Mexican students in Guerrero. By the way, it's important to remember too that these students in Guerrero down there in Iguala, they're not just students that were caught up in a drug war. Okay, these are leftist activist students that are revolutionaries that were down there in taking revolutionary actions down there, and that's why they were confronting the police in bravery, and that's why they were targeted by the police. And first, the police shot over their heads and shot at their feet, and that's why ultimately they were kidnapped and handed over to this drug gang down there that does have connections to the police, and that's how we think that they were assassinated. But I'm going to ask Cindy here in the chat room if she's ready to play the next bunch of commercials, and then we'll get back with the second phase of our show. Okay, great. I'll take a little break. All right, we'll be right back after this. We'll be getting into Maury Terry's book, The Ultimate Evil.
You are listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York.